Hey everyone, it's MeraMangle.
And Fab.
And welcome to another Mangled morning.
Woo!
You're rebranding as Susie Toot.
Yes.
Also, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but are you rebranding from Fabrielle to Fab? Is that a thing?
No, I just wanted to
switch it up?
Yeah. Most people call me Fab in real life. And I feel like I keep hearing people use that more and more as a compliment in real life. They're like, oh, that's Fab. Or, oh, I don't know if I'm just hearing that everywhere because it's my name.
So you really feel like you're getting compliments all the time?
Yes, right, exactly. Like, oh, you're Fab. Like, well, yes, I am.
Thank you.
I'm also a fake ass bitch. That's what it stands for. No, I'm just kidding. That's not. but no, I just no. I felt like
there's probably somebody out there that would say that, and it stands for.
Yes.
Like, what do you want? The Bad Girls Club?
Right. That would be the Fab in the alternate universe that is in the Bad Girls Club.
I love that you're giving Susie Toot confessional realness.
And I love that you are giving Mistress confessional real. I'm just kidding. You're a Nightwing.
We talked about what are we going to wear today. Mm-hmm. And you said, well, I have to do a Susie Toot look. I'm like, well, I can't do a non-drag basic just wearing a t-shirt look. If you're going to be up here as Susie Toot, people are going to eat up the Susie Toot. Now I got to bring it hard, too.
Yes.
Speaking of hard.
Ooh.
My body.
We have some hard decisions to make today.
We sure do. I've been getting great suggestions for videos. This was from one of our Patreon members. I think it was by Perry. I should have written that down.
Perry the Platypus.
If that's wrong, then I'll edit that out. Yeah. They suggested that we look at all the shared wins or the partnered wins or group wins on Drag Race, which there's actually not a lot. I think there's 15.
I know the length of this list shocked me.
I thought it would be way longer.
Yeah.
So look at all the partnered shared wins and then decide who is the true winner, the solo winner. If only one queen could win the challenge,
only be one.
Who was that girl in our opinions?
Yes.
And so make sure you, along the way, you leave your comments below of who you think the real winner of the challenge is.
I'm a Libra, so this is going to be really hard for me, and I need y'all to understand that, because decisions and choosing just one, we see both sides, so this is hard.
As to where I don't tend to struggle with those.
Yeah, you're like, this is my opinion. Would you say in the night that you never wing it?
You know what? Nightwing had to share the role of Robin with a lot of other folks, and then had to be Nightwing to branch out on their own to have their solo moment.
There you go.
That's how it incorporates. That's why I'm doing it. I was watching an interview about DC characters and all that. Most of the main people in charge consider Dick Grayson, Robin, Nightwing, as the heart of the entire
franchise.
Out of everyone.
And we still don't have a solo movie.
They act embarrassed of him in terms of when people make live action movies.
Yeah.
I mean, to be real, when he starts off as a child, it's crazy if they actually featured a child with him.
Right.
That's why they tend to age him up, but there's a way they could do it. Also, just jumped right to Nightwing.
We would love to see it. So get on it, DC.
I feel like I start saying stuff like that, and I'm like, wait, why am I talking about that? I see I'm dressed like him.
And then you're like,
but I think we're supposed to be doing something else.
Right.
Did you have all these pieces for the Susie Toot look?
This is actually Blair's. And then this I got because I was originally going to wear it whenever I met her. Uh-huh. I was going to do this, but then I made it a little draggier and I wore a zebra print dress and did a little denim. I went a different route.
Did she clock it?
Oh, she did immediately. Yeah. She was like, wait, the hat. And she was like, oh. And I was like, yes, I'm the confessional you. And so I kind of tried to do that. It's become my thing because I did it with Mirage too whenever she came.
When she came in
and she lived for
Y'all have some big names coming up.
Oh my God, yeah. We got Anya. The biggest. Anya coming up, the winner. We got
and Bosco and
Bosco
that's
and
crazy.
Irene. Yeah, it's lit. Really
I feel like
fun.
It's really ramped up and it's all hot names.
Hard candy events, baby. Yeah.
I think I already said this once, but I'll say it again. Speaking of hard.
Yes.
My penis. So we're going to get into deciding the real winner of these shared wins. And we don't have to agree, but before we get started, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and join the Patreon where you can see all kinds of additional content you can't see on YouTube. Plus, you're helping support the channel. Now, this made a good slap.
I tried to do a little Susie Toot tap.
Good. Oh, yeah, you got a bare leg and I got a leather leg. Now, you can also support the channel by tipping on Venmo or CashApp like Jeffrey K., who said, for your 3 amazing co-hosts. I got one of them here with me.
Oh, shucks.
And, of course, you can also tip using the YouTube thanks, which we'll go over some of those at the end of the video. And we got some spicy ones today.
Ooh, some spicy.
Some stuff that could be their whole own videos. But we're going to get into this video. You ready to get started with our list, gal?
Oh, my God, I'm tootin'. I'm tootin' to get started.
That's what that smell is.
Oh, okay.
She tooted.
I don't do that. I gave that up.
I gave that up. What is it, Lent? You gave it up for Lent?
I did.
We're going to look at the actual Maxi-Challenge, that'll be the first photo. And then if there is a second photo, that will be them winning in their runway look.
Yes.
So it gives us a little bit of all the pieces to make our decision.
Yes.
The very first shared win ever was on season 3, episode 2, or I guess technically episode 3 because they do some sort of stupid casting special. Anyway, it was the acting challenge, the Boobarella, with the twin bots with Alexis and Shangela.
Now, I would definitely feel like Shangela, for me, would make sense as the winner.
This is one where, like, because they were so in unison, and also
it's hard to determine.
Yeah, and also their looks matched as well. Like,
but just because, right, they were both Judy Jetson hookers.
In red. I actually want to lean toward Alexis because her look was just a little bit more, like the hair. It's going to come down to stuff like that. But also,
the look is better.
And also, like, their voice that they did in unison, they actually sound like Alexis.
Yeah.
Like
they modeled it after Alexis'
right.
voice. You're swaying me a little. Maybe I can understand the Alexis of it all now.
The actual challenge of them as a speaking role is one line of dialogue.
Right.
Like, I forgot how much the behind the scenes of, like, them shooting it factored in, because you see so much more of them in that.
Yeah.
On season 4, also episode 2, I believe, it's the wrestling challenge. Chad Michaels and Madame LaQueer won as a duo.
I'm going to say Madame LaQueer is the winner for me. Maybe that's controversial.
Why is that?
But I just think, just storyline-wise, the girls were really, like, being hard on Madame LaQueer, and I loved the underdog storyline of her being like, you know what, no, I am going to slay at this physical challenge because y'all are fat-phobic, and I am going to eat y'all up. And she did.
No, and she did slay it, and they did do great as a duo. And her character was, like, so real. Like, Frankenstein and I don't know the name of the character, but you know how he has, like, the guy that, like, does all that running around for him?
Igor.
Yeah. She was giving that type of energy, but obviously a big-breasted wrestling demon woman.
Igor on estrogen.
I have to go with Chad because Chad talks and does all the speaking.
True.
Madame LaQueer just makes noises as her character. And anytime, like...
You feel like she steered the ship.
If Chad wasn't doing all the talking and being clever and funny and owning the villain role...
Yeah, that's real.
She needed, like, that strong leadership of the duo. Like, she did that in the group, too.
I get that.
Oh, my God. Look at my glove coming apart.
Oh, no!
Because of that.
Oh, my lanta.
Scraping on the thing.
Oh, geez, how?
Or maybe they're just, like...
Are they just flaking
They're just, like, been sitting too long.
Right, that happens.
I mean, the custom is really old. Wow.
My couch is doing that, actually, at home. That same thing, that, like, peeling. Gotta get a new one.
I wonder, like, why not? Like, when they...
Well, it's kind of like humidity levels and, temperature.
Next, also on season 4, there was 2 paired wins.
Ooh, this is a hard one, though.
This was the So Much Better Singing Challenge with Willem and Latrice.
Yes.
First of all...
The one that she was famously disqualified
Right. Willem won with Latrice, and then they said, you gotta hit it, gal. Disqualified. But they fully deserved that win. Like, they were the best.
It would have been gaggy. No, they were by far the best group.
What are your thoughts on who should be the winner here?
I don't know, because it was a duet. They were both pulling, I feel like, the same amount of weight, you know.
Well, I think as a comedy...
Not a joke on their, size difference, but...
I think as a duo, they had good chemistry together. And I think that's why they've continued to work together,
Yeah.
But I have to go with Willem because Willem was definitely the leader with the lyrics in the song. And Willem was so smart because the other duos, like, they had to rewrite one of the verses of the songs, right? Mm-hmm. And the other 2 groups just chose to go with basically, like, what was implied, which was, like, the second verse. And they redid the first verse. So their song was totally different and like felt so much more original because it was mainly all their lyrics.
Yeah. No.
And then because the other 2 duo did the second verse, rewrote that.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't write the second verse, we didn't hear it from anyone else, so it didn't sound like a repeat.
Right.
And she dressed Latrice, made her sexy. Like,
true.
This was very much Willem taking Latrice into her world.
Also, Willem is like she is about her business, and she is kind of like, I'm gonna lead, okay, Yeah. So it's definitely had, like, like when you see a director and it's that director. I know that Willem creatively directed this.
She knew what she wanted, and, like, she knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And all that, on top of that, she also did a great pratfall.
Yeah,
like
she did.
A sitcom level fall.
True.
I got her mid-fall.
Mid-fall. knee still in the air.
But, like, that's hard to do, to pretend to fall
It's not
right when
easy.
it lands there.
I had to do that when I was in a chorus line. I had to fall. And the first time I did it, my director was like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm fine. In order to convince people, you got to weaponize that BFA. And she did that.
Up next, this was controversial in the moment with Michelle. Season 6, so not on Season 5, Laganja and Adore win the Color Revolution Makeup Commercial Challenge.
And I remember being just as upset as Laganja. Michelle was like, I'm shocked or whatever. And then,
Right.
Who was it?
Leah Remini. They were great together. I want to
would
see that
listen
again.
to a podcast of her and Michelle.
I can't believe they haven't brought her back.
This one is hard as well because I feel like, again, they kind of carried the weight, but I'm going to have to go with Adore.
Yeah, I remember Adore being good in this commercial. Rewatching it, and again, all these years later, I was like, holy shit, this is so... Like, Adore is so good in this.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like I didn't value how good she was in this the first time around, you know?
Yeah.
Like, her delivery, the inflection is just so perfect.
Yeah.
And because it's so perfect, like, it could literally be... Like, what she does could be on real TV, you know, as a real thing.
For sure. I mean, Adore is such a star. And I mean, Laganja, of course, is a star, too. I just feel like...
She wasn't fully formed.
She wasn't
I mean,
fully
neither one
formed.
of them were, but...
Yeah.
Adore just has that natural thing.
And I liked Adore's runway a little bit better. I thought Laganja kind of looked like Magnolia Crawford here.
Yeah.
The swordfish.
It was trying to be, like, very
Which I guess was maybe like a
artistic.
thing during season 6 to have that mohawk thing, but I'm
Mohawks
really
were
glad.
trendy for a while. Like faux hawks. Because Adore is so good in the commercial,
Yeah.
it makes Laganja's kind of stiff delivery stand out more.
Mm-hmm.
And Adore's just kind of is also owning the camera at every moment. And Laganja's not, like, in this
She's
shot.
chewing the scenery.
In a lot,
She was
when
chewing the
Laganja's
scenery.
not talking, she's not connecting.
She's not honed. Yeah.
It's basically like the girl and her friend.
Yeah.
Like,
They played really well together though, like as frenemies, because that's honestly kind of what they were at the time, you know. So that kind of played well. They were method acting, one would
I
say.
think Adore wins. I think this is back to back with the rap challenge. So like
Yeah. She was on the up and up.
halfway through the season, all of a sudden she came out of nowhere.
Right.
But like, yeah, she really won those.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, there's 3 on season 7. 3 duo wins. I don't think any season before or after has ever had 3. It's just weird. I wonder if that's a decision they like make prior to going into the season.
And on the UK, they hand them out like candy.
Yeah, right. There's challenges where almost the whole cast wins, and there's seasons where the whole cast almost wins.
Right.
Badges. Because there's no prizes. They are willing to give those little badges out.
Yeah.
First, the Despies, which I did love. Max and Pearl
Should
win
bring that
that.
challenge back. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
But this was, if you remember this same episode, that Rue and Pearl have their
Stare down.
standoff, and she tries to quit.
Drama.
And it feels like, you know, for story purposes, maybe to keep her there. I don't know. I will say they did fine. They did good. And actually, Pearl is by far the stronger one.
Yeah, no, for me too. Yeah, I thought Pearl ate this up.
Max doesn't actually,
Say anything.
roast anyone.
Yeah, I just remember Pearl impersonating Ginger and being like, once get on my husband and go back to Gatorville.
She does all the talking.
Yeah, she ate it up.
And then Max is doing, I don't know how that's
comedy
Ginger.
in the background, yeah.
She's like just giving what she can, yeah.
Right.
Because also I feel like she let Pearl run it because part of her brand might be like not making fun of other people or something. I don't know. The best
true.
line of this is an iconic one, and it's Pearl. She says, "The Brooke Hogan of drag, Katya."
Yeah, and Katya, you know who could take a read really well? Katya. She she always just laughs and giggles, and we all need to be a little bit more like
Not take
Miss
herself so
Katya.
seriously.
Yeah.
If I was to pick a solo winner out of the challenge, it wouldn't be either one of them. I actually think it would be Katya. Because her speech...
Oh my God, Katya, what did she say? The
key to...
behind a swollen vagina
Right.
is courage.
Right. Next is Katya and Violet Chachki, Dancing with the Stars challenge.
Oh, this is so hard.
Now, this one feels like a setup in a different type of way. They each had like a styles of dance they had to do,
Yeah.
but it was 2 different styles, traditional and then like a more modern.
Modern, yeah.
And they had the Vogue Tango.
Which is fierce. That sounds like, on paper, I would want that one, of course.
It sounds like a song.
Yeah, the Vogue Tango. But
Also, it's the only good pairing, like only good dances paired together at all.
because what was Trixie and Ginger's? It was like country...
The Country
Twerk.
Robot.
Girl, set up.
Kennedy and Pearl had like the wall twerking or something. Yeah. And so that was also
making
silly.
Pearl twerk.
Yeah.
Really? Tina Belcher.
Out of all the duos, they're the only duo where both of them have rhythm.
They're good movers. Katya is a literal gymnast, and I mean, Violet does burlesque. I will say, I think maybe Violet would be my winner because Katya, she's a good mover, so it didn't shock me.
I feel like Violet didn't struggle at all, and also she just naturally, she looks like a real dancer, a professional dancer.
Also, Violet's 2-in-1 was probably the most successful, but I did like the way Katya modeled it on the runway.
Because they said she looked like a douchey guy.
Yeah,
yeah,
which is hysterical.
As to where both of Violet's people looked elegant.
Yeah, she looked like
ballroom.
She looked like a ballroom dancer on both sides. Like,
I would give it to her.
Gorgeous. Me too. I would.
Next, this is the last one from season 7, and this is the hardest one we've looked at so far. The first ever shared win on Snatch Game, Kennedy and Ginger. I will say, I don't think this should have been the first shared win. I think the first one should have been on the first ever Snatch Game. I think Tatiana and Pandora should have won.
I agree. And most people remember it that way anyway.
Right.
They remember Pandora winning.
Yeah.
I really don't know who I would choose because they both... Oh, the Little Richard was so good.
They're both incredible.
You know what? I think I'm going to give it to Ginge. Because I quote the...
My house.
Like, probably maybe twice a week.
Kennedy's bathhouse with lots of glory holes. And I actually would go with Kennedy. Kennedy owns the room, including Ginger. She's... Wrong note, sugar.
Yeah, that's true. She did one up her there in that...
And the only thing I didn't like about Ginger's is just the reliance on the food as well. Like
the props.
That's a little weak. She didn't even need the food.
She had the trophies. She had the the cigarette and the. No, that's true.
It was a great character, but I will say it's not really Adele. You know what I mean? Like that's not her personality.
Caricature of Adele.
The Little Richard could be a Little Richard impersonation on SNL. It was brilliant.
You're right. Oh God,
I'm not trying to talk you into it.
No, I know, but I'm so easily convinced. Or you just have a very convincing argument.
People think that I always.
I'd be horrible at speech and debate.
Sometimes the comments will be like, Mera's forcing them to change their answers. I'm just saying my opinion.
No, you are.
I'm not trying to make people do nothing.
No, I'm gonna stay with Ginger, but I think it was very clearly a double win because they both were incredible. And I quote the shut up, the woo, shut up. I also quote, I love Pearl's big aunt when she said, I said, in mansions. Oh, they lived under a mansion, or the Batcave was under a mansion.
I didn't grow up watching Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I had a rough childhood. Like, I quote that a lot too, so...
Kennedy, me and Batman and Robin have a lot in common. Like, her delivery is brilliant.
Honestly, season 7, one of the best Snatch Games.
Pearl should have been in the top 3.
Yeah.
Katya should have not been in the top 3.
Oh, was she in the top 3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Over Pearl.
Oh my God, I didn't remember that. Mandela effect.
Moving on to season 8, there was one shared win towards the end, and it was the political challenge, the commercials. Commercial challenge seems to be a popular thing for
the double wins. Yeah.
It's Bob and Derek.
They both did great. I think I will have to go with Bob.
Without a doubt.
Right. I think Bob's just flowed so well.
Bob's was fully formed and hilarious. I think that's where Derek actually shines the most, is eating babies in Bob's video.
Yeah.
That's like Derek's best moment, in the season.
Yeah.
Derek's actual commercial that she put together is not as successful.
It's just fine. No.
And then like her version of Bob compared to what Bob had her do, eating babies, it's just,
She didn't utilize
She didn't go far enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And even with her persona, I saw what she was doing, but like it was this bit of like, however.
Yeah. It was a little low energy. And then I feel like she warmed up, and then when they shot Bob's, then she really went for it,
Right.
I liked Bob's runway more.
Absolutely,
The clown. Like
Derek did have a 2-in-1 with the gown, but that second gown, the gown wasn't a moment.
It wasn't really even it was a 2-in-1, and it was like, take it down.
Next week at the ball, the other girls are like, that look though, you shouldn't have won. I think Naomi says that.
Right.
This was a great moment for the story, but without a doubt, Bob's commercial is the winner. I'm serving BJs, better jobs, and then she had a bit about it's designed by lesbians, so it. Like she had the gay agenda.
She had one-liners that were really good.
She had smart,
just like Bosco on the season of All Stars.
Yeah. Bob was that girl from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They were the duo on season 9. This is the only pair we ever had that have multiple wins together.
Shaysha.
Sasha Velour and Shea Coulee had
Ooh.
2 wins. And they're kind of similar challenges in terms of what they win. One's the improv, it's kind of improv, but it's the morning show. Where they had to do the
segment.
Food segment. So funny. And they had the sexual tension. Like, they created a whole extra layer. Like, they were the winners of that challenge.
Yeah.
The second one is the commercial towards the end where they're doing, like, TV pilots.
This is so hard. I can't do it.
I really, really loved the Good Morning Bitches. Like, they really
That was so much fun. And rest in peace, Naya Rivera. Oh,
yeah.
God, I love her so much.
The first one, I would say, if I had to pick one person, I think I would do Sasha on that one. Because she was the person leading the actual recipe, which is, you just put a chocolate bar in it.
Yeah.
In the salad. And, like, the way she did that kind of stuff. And then still also the sexual tension.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So for that one, I would go with Sasha. I think in the second one for me.
You would go with Shay.
I would go with Shay because I feel like
of the vote bitch. Like, I think of that.
She just is more, she pops more, as to where the Russian character makes Sasha a little bit more monotone.
Yeah. I think this is really hard for me because right now I have my Susie Toot glasses on, but they're also my Shea Coulee goggles.
Oh.
And I'm a Shea Coulee stan. She's in my Holy Trinity.
Who's your Trinity?
Shea Coulee, Lemon, and Taste.
That's so random.
Those are my... And then if I made it a
oh.
quattro, it would be Denali. Denali, Shea, Lemon, Taste.
I don't have a Trinity. I guess I'll have to come up with one.
I think Shea should have won for both of these.
Damn.
I know.
I'll be real controversial with the second one. I do think if I had to pick one of them, I'd pick Shea. Although I do love...
You don't think they should have won the
Sasha's
challenge?
look. I think that Trinity the Tuck should have won as the nun.
Oh, yeah.
But Alexis Michelle threw that whole team under the bus.
That's my favorite part of the episode. Did you get the tea?
Who says that?
Alexis Michelle.
I don't remember that. I just remember children. Next, we have another acting challenge on season 11. I think this is episode 2. A lot of episode 2s. It is Scarlet Envy and Evie Oddly for the Good God Girl Get Out acting challenge.
I think I would definitely have to say Evie. For me. Although I do like whenever Scarlett was like, new phone, who dis? Like, that was really funny. I do remember that. But I just remember, like, Evie's, like, the campiness of her trying to pretend not to be, I guess...
Crazy. Like, hide her crazy.
Yeah, hide the drag queen or whatever.
I love Evie's runway. I love the line.
It reminds me... Do you remember Leomon from Digimon? Mm-hmm. It reminds me of Cyber Leomon.
I can see that. I remember not caring for this. But for the challenge in general, I just don't think they were great. But rewatching this, I thought they both were horrible.
Oh,
like, just not great. Just not great.
Oh, you didn't like the patch today.
It was just a little too corny. Like, and they were, Scarlett. They were the stars of it, especially Scarlett. And it was a lot.
You know
of
who
her.
really won this?
It was all over the place.
Was Vanjie.
Hello, Christine. I'm a cool dad. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which inspired.
She's the icon. Yeah.
Oh
we do the greetings on Patreon of, that's my greeting on Patreon. Hello, Christine.
Do you have any Patreons named Christine?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
That's wild. We have 70
Julian
Michaels. Yeah,
Michaels and Julian Bees. If I had to pick one of them, I would take it down to the runway, and I think
Who do you think should have won?
Evie's runway is better. I'm trying to think. I mean, I watched the whole thing. I don't know. I didn't care for anyone in any of it.
That's tea.
The Black Panther one was even worse.
That's real.
Brooklyn should have been in the bottom 2 for that.
That was bad.
She was so bad. Ooh, we go from season 11 to 2 on season 13, both of them involving Simone. So again, the winner. Now the first one is the makeover with Utica, which this one makes sense to be a duo win because they're making each other over.
Exactly. So much of makeovers is your relationship to the person that you're making over. So if you're going to have the queens make over one another, of course it has to be a double win because it's not only about how I'm putting my brand on you, it's how you're putting your brand on me,
right,
too.
and how I'm selling that and incorporating that in.
Yeah, which I kind of love, and I wish they would do that again.
They both did a great job, too, at, like, selling the look for what it is.
And it was so outside of both of their comfort zones. Both of them did such a good job of interpreting each other's movement. And they both channeled one another on the runway. So this one's really hard.
I would say if I had to pick one in the makeover, it's got to be Simone for me because, one, I think Simone's look that she brought for the makeover that's on Utica from head to toe is perfect. The look that Utica put on Simone is good, but the suit underneath is like a muscle, like, jump bodysuit you can get off Amazon. What makes that work also is the way, like, Simone really went. She really went there with the performance of the look too.
Yeah, she really stepped outside of her comfort zone. I think I'm gonna give it to Utica in the makeover because I think she got over herself and took a risk and listened to her partner, because she could have very easily said, no, I don't feel comfortable in that, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then Simone would have just been like, I don't know what to do. I will say I think Simone won in the commercials, though.
See, I actually
You think
feel the opposite.
Oh!
I think that I think they both had obviously the best commercials.
Yeah.
But I remember liking Simone's back in the day, but on the rewatch, I felt like it was actually a little bit hollow. Like, there wasn't a lot to her.
Is your blood sugar low?
Right. That was a funny line.
Yeah. And Rosé's was Rosé'd.
And Rosé's, the actual beverage itself, too, was clever.
Yeah.
It was a story of having delusion.
Yeah.
The beverage gave you your delusional fantasy that you need to get through the day.
Yeah.
And she made fun of herself a lot.
I loved both of their runways. Like, those were the best runways of the week.
It was like wasn't it a furry theme?
It was like Beast.
Yeah,
like,
Beast. They both had really fun looks. Yeah, one was like full-on perfect elf devilish type of moment.
And then the other, it was a furry moment, but it was like
Simone's
Foxy Brown.
It was like that character from Drawn Together.
Yeah, Foxy Brown. I just remember Simone's commercial more, so that's why she would be my winner.
That is fair. I can't give you a line from Rosé's.
Yeah.
But as I was watching it again, I was like, wow, this is multi-layered, and she desperately needed to make fun of herself. Because she took herself so seriously on that season.
Yeah.
And this was her acknowledging it.
She
was
needed to
ridiculous.
show that she was a good time gal.
Right. But this was such a great moment because they have Simone win first. Rosé was in full
And Rosé was shocked. She was like, what? The gag.
Next, season 15, the stand-up challenge. It's kind of a throwback to the All-Stars 2 stand-up duos.
Kind of like whenever they did that on All Stars 2, almost. When they did the duos.
That's what I just said.
Oh my God, my brain's not working. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was literally
exactly that.
You know, they had no chemistry in the workroom together in real life. So it was really shocking that they turned it out.
Yeah, it was palpable.
This was one that I didn't really remember, but rewatching it, I was like, they were really funny. They had good stuff, and they had great chemistry.
They did. They could take that on the road. Good timing and good punchlines. It was well written.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Lux's white jokes were really funny about Lucy.
Teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved Lux's RuPaul reference on the runway, too.
Made RuPaul cry.
Yeah. And Lucy did great, too. Her writing was impeccable. And this, like, ooky spooky. I love when... I think Lucy's at her strongest when she channels that horror aesthetic. Like, I think of her Jason, like, look.
I think both of her wins, she's doing spooky looks.
Yeah.
I think Lux has better jokes, but Lux's delivery is not at, like... It's
as
somewhat
polished.
What she says is still good enough that you still will laugh, but it's not natural. And what was actually funniest about the challenge to me was when Lux would make fun of her, the way Lucy would respond was like, "Oh wow," acknowledging it in the funniest way. But I feel like she didn't have as clever jokes. But then also, you know, if you look at the runway, obviously the RuPaul one, like Lux's RuPaul is going to win.
And what was the category? Shredded or something, right?
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was
Rip
Her to
How did these go
Shreds.
together?
Rip Her to Shreds or something. I think Lux just barely takes it for me.
With Lucy's look, the fact that like it's all white, but also like a yellow white, and then her face is white,
Oh, I
like
hated
gray white.
that. I hated that.
I don't understand that
cream
choice.
and the cream and the bright white are. It's jarring.
It doesn't. It feels like it doesn't.
I wish it was all just that the white that's on her face. You know.
Yeah, or she should have painted that color if that's what the look was made out of. Put the yellow in there, girl.
Yeah.
First ever on the U.S. franchise, 4 queens win the Maxi-Challenge.
Gagatrandra.
The Girl Group Challenge.
This was a really...
We've never even had anyone win 3 in the U.S.
Yeah, but we've had 4.
Now we've had 4.
And they did slay the house down. The verses were great.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's been challenges like this over the years where, like, it made sense for the team to all be winners, you know? And so I was happy they did that, and we broke that mold. I mean, UK's been doing it since the beginning.
But I think Megami should have won.
For me, it's between Nymphia and Nagami.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it hard is we find out that Megami wrote a lot of Nymphia's verse.
Mm-hmm.
They were by far the best two verses.
They were.
They actually sound like they were written by the same person.
You're right. You can hear the Megami's hand.
They
in
roll
the
right into
ghostwriting.
each other.
Yeah. But Nymphia did the choreography, and she really sold the performance of it.
Nymphia with the look. Like, Megami, she just had, like, the most basic look on for the girl group.
Also, Nymphia shaded the girls and wearing all yellow when they all just have black with yellow accents, and she didn't even have a black accent on.
Megami doesn't have any yellow.
She shaded the girls. Megami has, I think, the, like,
yellow
one
earrings.
piece of yellow. Yeah, she has, like, a sliver of yellow.
Nymphia probably has on a black necklace or something. The best verse and the best performance and the best runway was Nymphia. I have to go with Nymphia. That's on Megami for helping her win.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
She wrote her a verse that was better than hers. I mean, they were pretty equal, but Nymphia's is more branded, even.
Megami still, I think just because she wrote it, she's the winner for me. Because Nymphia, remember her funk verse? Do you remember how horrible? Exactly.
That, like, political one towards the end?
Yeah. The funk political that she used Plain Jane's immunity potion on.
Mm-hmm.
That's how insecure she felt about that verse.
Well, Plain Jane used it on her.
Exactly. But she was begging her to do that, you know?
Nymphia's at another level with the runway.
Oh my God.
I mean, that was all season.
Nymphia's runway is by far the best, but I don't think anyone really stood a chance this whole season against her runways. Even Q. No shade.
Right, yeah, I agree. Next, there's a second one on season 16, and it's the other two queens that were in the top three with Nymphia, Sapphira and Plain Jane. And this was for the bathroom little moment where they had to create their own custom bathroom and a theme and all that, which is so bizarre.
Yeah.
I do think that overall, the bathroom they create, because they do a speakeasy, they really did a great job with it.
They did. That is, like, also, what a weird challenge. You're in a bathroom and you have to sell the bathroom.
And come up with, like...
I think that would be, like...
They hid alcohol all over the place.
They made it funny.
Yeah.
But I feel like every other group was not successful.
I think it's more successful than all the hotels, too, on All Stars 5. You know, like, that one was... Those never made any sense.
One. Yeah, I do love Club 96, though. Whenever they...
Right. That's
even though
that was the bottom two.
I loved it, though. But, like, this
was good.
Was so good, and they worked so well together, and they played off of each other so well. I think of Plain Jane calling her Shakira.
Right. Could never get her name right.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Sapphira incorporates her singing, which was beautiful.
Oh my God. Plain Jane
with the triangle was so funny.
Like...
And if you remember, this was the one episode where Plain Jane showed vulnerability. Yeah. She was, like, crying and emotional this day. So Sapphira had to gather her.
I think if I had
But you would have never known in the final.
Yeah, you wouldn't have known. I'm going to have to give it maybe to Plain. Her comedic moments in the challenge...
She's funnier.
Were funnier.
Sure.
But I like Sapphira's runway more.
Well, in the category was chains, I think. Plain Jane came out in something. They called her out in this week. They were finally like, girl, you've come out in stuff like that before.
Okay, maybe I'll have to go. Maybe
it was very minimal on chains.
Yeah. I just feel like I saw more of Plain Jane's sense of humor than Sapphira.
I feel like Sapphira was the leader of the group, and so she was like leading the judges around the bathroom and all that.
But she was also kind of the straight man.
I think, duo. Which allowed Plain Jane to thrive to be funny. And so maybe because of how... Like, because Plain, you know, we know she was going through it that day. I feel like Sapphira leaned into what would work for them as a duo, you know, and, like, let Plain just pop in and say something funny.
Right.
But it was great.
It was great. And I actually do really understand Ru making most of these double wins, you know?
Yeah, most of these are, like, very legit. I'm going to go with Sapphira because the runway and because she was the leader. And I feel like everything that was put together wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have allowed Plain to be funny with the triangle, you know?
Right. Yeah, I guess, but I'm sticking with Plain. Although your arguments are so convincing. You should write commercials.
I'm telling you, people really do think that I'm, like, when I'm just explaining what I think...
Trying to convince.
That I'm trying to, like, change opinions, because that happens sometimes where people will be like, you're right.
What do people expect?
I have no idea.
You have to speak your mind and explain your opinion.
I thought that's what I was here to do.
Right.
And so if it sways people, what am I supposed to do about it?
Right.
Say, don't do that, girl. Stick to your guns. I'm wrong. Season 17, there was only one, which was Lexi and Anya Nerve for the monologue interpretive dance moments. I think there's a clear winner. Well, okay.
Lexi.
Lexi was the best interpretive dancer.
Yeah.
But
you think Anya was the clear winner?
Lexi's story was not good. It was a story about online drama and revenge.
It was
like
karma, yeah.
And we never found out what the karma was.
So you think Anya?
I would have Anya by far out of everyone had the best story. It felt like and it was not like the deepest story. It was about food and eating late at night and all that. But the way she told it was what you wanted from this, I felt like.
I liked Susie and Jules the best. They were my picks to win. I wanted a double win from them because I liked how they interpreted the challenge the best. And I liked their monologues the best. I did. I know, like, they didn't make it as funny. And obviously that's what Ru was looking for out of the challenge, but I just liked their genuine interpretation and how it was earnest. And I don't know, I didn't like that they, like, I guess painted being earnest as like some sort of a negative thing. One of my favorite like monologues is Kylie and her on All-Star 6, and I loved that, and it was just earnest and genuine and sweet and a little bit of vulnerability. And I liked that in Susie's monologue specifically. I say that dressed as Susie too right now. So again,
I'm leaning that way.
Biased.
I agree with what you're saying to an extent, but I do feel like their stories felt similar. Also, I did not like Susie's interpretive dancing.
Yeah, I don't think her physical...
She like totally missed the mark there somehow.
She wasn't as... I do think that's something that, like, Jules and Anya did so successfully was they did the physical comedy.
They understood that.
With the seriousness. So I can understand why Anya won, and if I had to pick, probably... Oh, I don't know. I really did like Lexi's. I think I'd have to go with Lexi. I do. I mean, I liked her.
It depends on how you look at it. If you look at the interpretive dancing, she was the best interpretive dancer.
And I liked her runway more because...
Her runway was adorable.
Because, like, really, the category was ugliest dress, and Anya's was a turkey costume. It wasn't a dress. Like, the dress itself actually wasn't ugly, if you looked at the dress part of the turkey costume. There
was a dress in that?
Yeah, it was like a bodycon dress, yeah. And then she had the thigh-high boots.
No, I agree. It's like a stretch for even being like a look. And it's very like, why?
Yeah. I will say her monologue, so good.
The way she told her story was the most engaging.
For sure.
Also, it's just the way she like sells with just levels and like selling certain parts of the story when it gets intense. And like her voice is telling us that. And
she can do a lot with a little because I don't remember the script they gave her for that SNL challenge. And she really sold it to me. She could have that could have been a double win, honestly. Anya and Susie together could have been a double win. And
because she hosted it and she was like the only good one in that
and the caveman skit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she really was incredible at the time.
I love Anya and Susie together. Nervy toot forever.
Lexi just being like, I gotta partner up with Anya because I want to get a win. I love that Lexi's so raw with all that, but it was almost a little bit like. But you're great on your own, and like she wasn't owning how good she was in the interpretive dance. Like I felt like she wasn't owning her part in it, and was like, I hitched my wagon to you, and I got my win. You know, like she said something like that. It's just like
she needs to believe in herself as much as we believe in her because she deserved every part of this win just as much as Anya did.
Most of those were easy.
Yeah.
For me to decide which one.
Those were all difficult for me. And I think we should have more double wins.
I think the most worthy of the double win
is Kennedy and Ginger.
Which is funny because it's not even one where they were paired together. It's just Snatch Game.
Yeah.
But they both were that brilliant at Snatch Game.
No, I agree. That would be my
no duo earned it as much as they did.
Maybe but right behind them would be Shay and Sasha.
I also was going to say Simone and
Utica in the makeover.
Mm-hmm. That's one that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Kind of like my penis.
Oh.
That's the third hard penis joke.
Oh, Nightwing.
Now it's time to get into our YouTube thanks. A lot of these are in reference to the Season 18 Rumored Cast.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my god, I followed Didi Fuego for a long time. Pretty sure that she did Lemon's horrible denim outfit on Canada Season 1.
Oh!
Last year I followed Kyron before she was on Drag Race, and Hormona and Lana. I guess they also followed them before.
Also, I liked that horrible denim outfit that Lemon wore. I did.
There's elements that were fine. Or, like, if it was on someone that was tall.
It was a little more fitted.
Yeah.
I think
it wasn't made for her body.
It wasn't, we could have fixed a few things, but...
How tall is she?
I think she's short.
I think she's, like, Hobbit size.
Yeah, Hobbiton. What did you say about Ginger? The Macy's worker inhabitant.
I was proud of that one, too. I was like, that was funny.
One. Right, I said, write that down.
Hello, Mera, and lovely guest. You always look stunning and gorgeous. Love your videos. As a Pokemon fan, I came up with a fantasy drag race Pokemon League. All of the gym leaders are drag race finalists, with the exception of
Chantel Sparkles.
You and Chantel Sparkles.
Ooh, you! I want to know what... Oh, you're a psychic type gym leader.
Like
somewhere.
Miyu or Meow? The one that from the movie?
Meow?
That's the psychic one.
No, he's normal type.
The one from the first movie?
Oh, Mew.
Mew, yeah,
yes.
that's what I was trying to
Mew.
say.
Oh, sorry. Mew.
I said Meow and Mew.
Mew or Mewtwo, they're both psychic.
Mewtwo, yeah. I do like the electric and fire ones.
Ooh, I could see you being electric.
They have a video idea as well, ranking the step-down looks. That's definitely one that got recommended a lot. Maybe that's already in the works.
Ooh.
The voting is now open over on the Patreon, and it's open until, for the step-down looks.
Exercise your democratic right while you still have it.
Open until Thursday, I think, or Thursday or Friday.
Mm-hmm. We're going to elect a new pope.
Sorry for the extra long post from Down Under.
Down Under.
And then finally, Ryan said, hi, Mera and guest. Tipped in the past. And now here's some extra info about the Rumor Queens on season 18. I'm not going to read some of this, and I blurred out some of the names just because they said they don't have information to back it up.
Right. We'll wait till it airs on TV.
But we'll skip down to Jan Don't is in the same drag family as Irene and Bosco and Arietti. Yeah, I forgot to call that out. She's not only from Seattle, but she's like good sisters with them. Okay. That little house of people getting on TV is growing.
They're fierce. They're for the aliens. The aliens and the elves, baby.
Right. Some queens that were on the early rumored. Abigail Beverly Hills. Oh, we love her. I love her.
Me too, Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
She's so fierce. I would love to see her on. They keep inviting her to premieres. So she has been on the carpet like a lot.
She lives in LA now too.
Yeah,
she does. I feel like it's like grown her visibility a great deal.
Oh, for sure. And she would be really cool. She's intersex, so it would be really cool intersex representation.
Nice. Shocked that they haven't had, to their knowledge, a New York queens that isn't from New York City. All the girls from Rochester, Kasha Davis, Darian, and Pandora.
Someone from Buffalo too, or did I make that up? Yeah, there's lots.
Well, the girls I just said are
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Rochester or Buffalo. Well, let us know what you think about the shared wins and who you think the real winner of these challenges is. I have one last thing to say today. Glad you got to see us. Bye. That's weird to do as Nightwing.